CNN, Hurricane Irma hit northern Cuba during its long, destructive march toward Florida, where it's expected to hammer the state with whistling winds, heavy rain and surging waves. Florida authorities went door-to-door warning residents of the massive hurricane, sending crowds jamming highways as they fled north. Irma also hit Ciego de Avila province with gusts so strong it destroyed the instrument used to measure wind. Cuba's meteorological agency reported waves up to 23 feet high were recorded, and as the storm moves westward, the possibility of even bigger waves and flooding are high along the northern Cuban coast, including in Havana, the agency said. Many people evacuated towns in both provinces in the past couple days, but as conditions deteriorate, those who stayed there have no other option now than to stay put. If you have been ordered to evacuate, leave now, not tonight, not in an hour. Now, Scott said Friday night. Staying in homes could subject residents to storm surge as high as 12 feet, the governor added. The National Weather Service also urged residents to evacuate. This is as real as it gets. Nowhere in the Florida Keys will be safe. You still have time to evacuate, it tweeted. Here are the latest developments. Irma's center was about 245 miles southeast of Miami on Saturday morning. It appears Miami will avoid a direct hit but will still get pounded by strong winds, storm surge and heavy rains. Irma's center will move near the north coast of Cuba on Saturday, near the Florida Keys on Sunday morning, and near the southwest coast of Florida on Sunday afternoon, the National Weather Service said. Before Irma hit Cuba, it had slammed the Turks and Caicos, and southeastern Bahamas. The Red Cross said as many as 26 million people could be exposed to destructive winds and torrential rain just in the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Cuba. It said 1.2 million people have been battered by the storm. Of the 24 deaths blamed on Irma, 9 were in unspecified French territories, 1 on Barbuda, 1 at the British Overseas Territory of Anguilla, 2 in Dutch-administered St. Martin, 4 in the British Virgin Islands, 4 on the U.S. Virgin Islands, and 3 in Puerto Rico. Hurricane warnings are in effect for parts of central Cuba, and the southeastern, central and northwestern Bahamas. Hurricane warnings also are in effect from Sebastian Inlet on the east coast, southward around the Florida Peninsula to Anna Maria Island on the Panhandle. The warning includes the Keys, Lake Okeechobee, and Florida Bay. Irma could overwhelm parts of the Bahamas, a nation of about 390,000, with storm surges of up to 20 feet, well above the island's elevation, CNN meteorologist Chad Myers said. Irma brought heavy rain and powerful winds to the low-lying Turks and Caicos Islands. The capital island of Grand Turk suffered quite a bit of damage, including to part of a hospital's roof, Governor John Freeman told CNN. It's not a question of whether Florida is going to be impacted, it's a question of how bad Florida is going to be impacted, Federal Emergency Management Agency Administrator Brock Long said. Though the core has the most power, Irma is huge. Its winds of at least tropical storm force cover 70,000 square miles, larger than the area of Florida, 65,000 square miles. Florida is not the only state preparing for possible impact. FEMA said Alabama and North Carolina should watch the storm. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster issued a mandatory evacuation for Saturday for some barrier islands, while Georgia Governor Nathan Deal expanded the state of emergency to include a total of 94 counties. The Caribbean islands pummeled by Irma are assessing the damage. Shredded buildings, battered cars and streets submerged in water are a common sight. The hard-hit islands of Barbuda and St. Martin are wearily preparing for Hurricane Jose, which could hit there over the weekend. Barbuda, one of 2 major islands in the nation of Antigua and Barbuda, is barely habitable, with about 95% of its buildings damaged, Prime Minister Gaston Brown said. Brown estimated the damage will cost $100 million to fix on the island of 1,800 residents. Are you affected by Irma? Text, iMessage or WhatsApp your videos, Photos and stories to CNN, 1 347 322 0415.